Liverpool just lost their best center back for absolutely nothing. And Real Madrid just completed one of the smartest pieces of defensive business in years. Ibrahima Konate is officially a Real Madrid player. Free transfer, 4-year deal. And he turned down Saudi Arabia to come here. This is Florentino Perez doing what he does best. And it is happening right now. Welcome back to Robert's Football Talk. I'm your host, and if you are new here, subscribe right now because today we are breaking down the Ibrahima Konate story from every single angle. Why he left Liverpool, why he chose Real Madrid over Saudi millions, what he brings to Mourinho's defense, and why this free transfer might be even more important than it looks on the surface. Let's get into it. Let me start with the confirmed facts because this is breaking today. Real Madrid officially confirmed the signing of Ibrahima Konate on Thursday, the 18th of June, 2026. The French center-back has signed a 4-year deal at the Bernabéu until 2030 with an option for a 5th year. He arrives as a free agent following the expiry of his contract at Liverpool. Zero transfer fee. A 27-year-old French international center-back with Champions League experience, a Premier League title winner's medal, and 183 Liverpool appearances. Signed for nothing. This is now the third major free transfer Real Madrid have completed this summer alone. Bernardo Silva confirmed yesterday. Konate confirmed today. And this summer is not even close to finished. Let me say that again because it needs to sink in. Real Madrid have signed Bernardo Silva and Ibrahima Konate in consecutive days, both free transfers. Both players who turned down enormous offers from other clubs to come to the Bernabéu. Florentino Perez is operating at a level that most clubs cannot even dream of competing with. Now, before we get into everything, I want to ask you something. Real Madrid are signing world-class players on free transfers one after another. Bernardo Silva yesterday, Konate today. Do you think this is the best transfer window Real Madrid have had in years? Drop your answer in the comments right now. I read everything and I want to know what the Robert's Football Talk community thinks. So how did this happen? How did Liverpool end up losing one of their best defenders for free to their biggest rival in the Champions League? The story starts at the end of last season when Konate announced he would be leaving Anfield when his contract expired. He released a statement saying he was deeply saddened not to be able to say goodbye to the fans in person. Liverpool had tried to extend his contract. Multiple rounds of talks. Multiple offers. But Konate and Liverpool could not find an agreement. The numbers were not matching. The ambition was not matching. And when it became clear that a deal was not coming, Konate made his decision. Within 48 hours of confirming his Liverpool exit, reports emerged that he had reached a verbal agreement with Real Madrid on a 4-year contract. 2 days! That is how quickly this moved once Liverpool were out of the picture. And here is the detail that tells you everything about how serious Konate was about Real Madrid. Reports confirmed that he put Saudi Arabia bids on hold to negotiate with Madrid. He had received 2 offers from Saudi clubs. We are talking about the kind of money that would set him up for life. Huge wages, tax-free, guaranteed security. And he put all of that on hold because he wanted to come to the Bernabéu. That is not a player making a financial decision. That is a player making a legacy decision. Subscribe to Robert's Football Talk right now because we are about to get into exactly what Konate brings to Mourinho's defense and why this signing is more important than most people are giving it credit for. Because here is the reality of Real Madrid's defensive situation before Konate arrived. Antonio Rudiger is 33 years old. Eder Militao has suffered 2 serious knee injuries in consecutive seasons, and his long-term fitness is a genuine question mark. Raúl Asensio is talented but inconsistent and had public confrontations with the previous manager. David Alaba is gone. Dani Carvajal is gone. Real Madrid desperately needed quality, reliable defensive depth, not just cover. Genuine quality that can start at the highest level in La Liga and the Champions League. Konate provides exactly that. At 27 years old, he's entering the peak years of his career as a center-back. He is physically exceptional. 6'4", incredibly quick for his size, dominant in the air. And at his best, he is one of the most complete central defenders in European football. He proved that during Liverpool's Premier League title winning season in 2025 when he formed one of the best center-back partnerships in England alongside Virgil van Dijk. Yes, his performances became shaky and inconsistent in his final season at Liverpool. Yes, there were questions about whether he was at the level that Madrid needed. But here is what matters. Mourinho was informed of the club's decision to sign Konate, and he approved it. Mourinho looked at that player, looked at his profile, looked at what he needs defensively, and said, yes, that is the opinion that counts at Real Madrid right now. Mourinho builds his teams from the back. Every great Mourinho side in history has been built on a defensive foundation that was almost impossible to break down. At Chelsea, he had Terry and Carvalho. At Inter Milan, he had Lucio and Samuel. At his first Real Madrid spell, he had Ramos and Pepe. He knows exactly what kind of defender he needs, and he has approved this one. Now let me ask you something. Konate at 27 in the peak of his career under Mourinho's defensive coaching. Do you think he becomes one of the best center-backs in La Liga next season? Or do you think his inconsistency will continue? Tell me in the comments. This is exactly the kind of debate I love on this channel. Because here is what the defensive picture at Real Madrid looks like right now with Konate added. Rudiger brings experience and leadership. Konate brings physicality, pace, and the ability to dominate aerially. And behind them is the possibility of more defensive reinforcements still to come. Reports suggest Madrid are looking at a second center-back addition. The backline is being completely rebuilt by Mourinho, who made it his first priority. Add Cucurella at left back, already confirmed and signed this week. Add Alvaro Carreras, who has been one of the most impressive young left backs in Spain. Add Denzel Dumfries, reportedly arriving to strengthen the right side. And you start to see the shape of a Mourinho defense that could genuinely be one of the most organized and difficult to break down in European football next season. Konate also brings something that cannot be measured in statistics. He brings Champions League experience at the highest level. He knows what it takes to perform in knockout football under the heaviest pressure. He played in Champions League finals. He played in the biggest nights English football had to offer. When Real Madrid face Bayern Munich or Paris Saint-Germain or whoever emerges from Europe next season in the knockout rounds, Konate will not be a player experiencing those moments for the first time. And here is the connection that makes this story even more fascinating. Konate's former Liverpool teammate Trent Alexander-Arnold left Anfield for Real Madrid last summer. Now Konate follows him. Two of Liverpool's key players from their Premier League title-winning team, both choosing Real Madrid when their contracts expired. Both free transfers. Both choosing the Bernabéu over everything else on the table, including Saudi Arabia money. That tells you something about the pull of this club under Mourinho and Perez. Players want to come here. They are turning down more money. They are choosing Madrid. Subscribe to Robert's Football Talk and share this video because this is the story of a club rebuilding itself into a genuine European superpower in real time, and I want you to be part of every step of it. Now let me zoom out and look at what this entire summer is starting to mean for Real Madrid's Champions League ambitions. Because when you put the pieces together, the picture is remarkable. In midfield, Mourinho now has Bernardo Silva confirmed yesterday, a player who won the Champions League with Manchester City and has 153 goal contributions over 9 Premier League seasons. Federico Valverde, who is one of the most complete midfielders in the world. Aurelien Tchouameni, who provides the defensive protection and tempo control a Mourinho team needs. And Nico Paz returning from loan as one of the most exciting young midfielders in European football. In attack, Kylian Mbappe leads the line. Vinicius Jr. if the contract situation resolves. Endrick returning to take his place in the squad. A front line that on their day is as frightening as anything in world football. And now in defense. Rudiger and Konate as the starting center-back partnership. Cucurella at left-back, Carreras as competition on the left, Dumfries potentially arriving on the right. A back four that Mourinho can organize, drill, and make genuinely difficult to play through. This is not a work in progress. This is a team being assembled specifically to win the Champions League. Mourinho came back to Madrid with that as his primary mission, and every single signing this summer points in exactly that direction. The free transfer strategy deserves a special mention because it is becoming Perez's signature approach. Alaba arrived for free. Rudiger arrived for free. Mbappe arrived for free. Alexander-Arnold arrived for free last summer. Now, Bernardo Silva and Konate arrive for free in the same week. Real Madrid are repeatedly identifying players in the final year of their contracts, making early contact, and securing agreements before anyone else can react. They are getting world-class players without paying transfer fees and then using those savings on wages and signing bonuses that still cost far less than a traditional transfer would. It is quiet, it is ruthless, and it is working. Liverpool, on the other hand, now have a massive problem. They have lost Konate for nothing to their direct Champions League rivals. They have already brought in Jeremy Jacquet from Rennes for £60 million as a replacement. But there is no guarantee that a 20-year-old French defender is ready to step into the void left by a player with 183 Premier League appearances and a title winner's medal. Iraola is starting his Liverpool tenure having already lost two key defensive assets this summer in Konate and the previously departed Alexander-Arnold. The rebuild at Anfield is real, but so is the challenge it presents. That is ultimately what makes this story so significant. It is not just about what Real Madrid gain. It is also about what Liverpool lose. And what every other club in Europe now has to reckon with as they look at the squad Mourinho is building. A midfielder signed yesterday for free. A center-back signed today for free. A left-back signed this week for $50 million. And more still to come before the summer is done. The Bernabéu is being rebuilt piece by piece. And Florentino Perez is doing it with a smile on his face and very little of his transfer budget spent on fees. That is the full breakdown. Konate is confirmed. Liverpool lost one of their best players for nothing. Real Madrid's defense is being transformed. And the Champions League ambition at the Bernabéu has never been clearer. What is your prediction? Does this Mourinho-Real Madrid defense challenge for the Champions League next season? And did Liverpool make a mistake letting Konate leave? Drop everything in the comments right now. This has been Robert's Football Talk. Hit that like button. Share this with every football fan you know, and subscribe if you are not already here. New videos every week, and Real Madrid are giving us content every single day this summer. I will see you in the next one.